Hello, it's Tony here again. Well, I'm showcasing another panel that I have probably had completed for a while, but I've been tinkering and tweaking and improving it. There's just recently been an update to a mod that I use with this particular aircraft, and it did play a little bit of havoc with some of my instruments, particularly on the electrical system side. So I've been changing some of the subscribes and some of the code to deal with that new electrical system architecture in the Cessna Grand Caravan EX. So this is the G1000 variant, and you'll see I've got a dual panel for it, just like I've done for many other aircraft. So I've created a left and a right hand side panel for the G1000 variant of the Caravan, and I've also updated my analog Caravan panel that I produced for the X-Plane Coronado Caravan to work in Microsoft Flight Sim. So if I want to, I can fly a analog gauge Caravan, albeit it's still the G1000 one in the sim, but I don't look at the virtual cockpit. I just use my Air Manager instrument panel with my analog gauges. So if I want a bit of six-pack fun, I load up those panels, and they all work with Microsoft Flight Sim. So that was a bit of a job getting. Obviously, the basic flight instruments were fairly straightforward, but autopilot and altitude selector and rad out and whatnot, all the other analog instrumentation. So I've set up a panel for that with the GTN 750 as a right-hand side panel option, using the PMS 50 GTN 750, and that works quite nice. But anyway, we've seen that panel before, other than to say it looks exactly the same. It's just pretty much behind the scenes made to work with Microsoft Flight Sim, so that gives the option to fly an analog Caravan panel with the in-sim aircraft, albeit the engine power is a little bit increased, and some of the gauges have had to change ever so slightly on the analog one, but I've allowed for that and updated the panel accordingly. So anyway, this one is the G1000 variant. You can see we're sort of not quite night time, but we're getting a little bit dark here, so we're sort of semi dimmed. We'll allow it to get a little bit darker with the natural lighting. Just as the ambient light fades as we're approaching night, the panel will get a little darker. I'm only using the release 402, I think the release version is, of Air Manager at the moment. So there's a couple of features that are not quite working that I will need the Air Manager 4.1 release, which I'm being told is coming very soon, but it's been coming very soon for a while. So hopefully it won't be too much longer and we can get our hands on Air Manager 4.1, the release version. Of course, you can use the beta for that now. So without further ado, I guess we should power this panel up. So what we have here at the moment, if we just go over to the left hand side panel first, we have the main G1000 PFD. We have a pop-up main electrical switch panel on the left here. We'll turn the master switch on, and we have a little feature that I just actually didn't show. I'll turn the master off there, but if you leave the standby alternator on at the end of the day, you can see when you switch the little LED is off now. When you turn the master off, the light comes on. That just as a little reminder to let you know that the way that the Caravan is wired, the battery can be drained down through the alternator circuit. So there's a little light that comes on that when you switch the master off, the master battery switch off, if you've left the standby power switch on, therefore draining the battery, the light will come on. Of course, if you turn it off, the light goes out. So that's a nice little feature just recently introduced. It's not quite right in the sim, but I've made it correct in Air Manager on the well, I know that's the correct operation in the real world, and I'm going to hope that the in-sim one gets updated, but it's kind of irrelevant really, because the Air Manager panel is correct. as I said earlier, I don't look at the virtual cockpit, so that's not really any drama. So there you have your main switch panel, which I've kind of shown before, but this is the G1000 variant, so with like this sort of medium grey textured instrument panel and switch panels. We switch the first Avionics switch on, and you'll see just the primary has come on. I'll switch over to the other side. You can see the MFD has not come on yet, but you can see that the ADF is actually on, because that's on Avionics 1. It is in the sim anyway. So we have the G1000 on now. You can see now we're running the G1000 NXI, so we've got the reversionary mode working quite nicely here now with this latest version. So we've got the engine instrument strip on the PFD here. So we'll go ahead and probably do an engine start. Let's turn that panel off and turn our beacon light on. And then what we should probably do is, if I go to full panel view, I can pop up the fuel selectors on the right hand side so you can see what I'm doing there. So I've got a little pop up. This is the overhead panel, so this is a little one that I can show and hide of the overhead panel there with the fuel selectors. So we'll turn them on. They're normally actually off, but I've just been prepping this this aircraft ready to show. You can see our flaps are already set. Our fuel shut-off valve is in, that's good. We already put our beacon light on. So what we're going to do is put our fuel boost pump on. Probably hear the fuel boost pump going. And we're going to click, just making sure my prop is up there. We'll click the starter and you'll see the NG start rising, and it gets to about 12%. We'll introduce the fuel with a condition lever. Turn the start switch off now. We have a successful start. We can bring that fuel boost pump back to normal. Engage our standby alternator. Make sure that our gel, one thing they've improved now in this latest version of the Caravan mod, which does, by the way, if you haven't got it, really does improve the Caravan, makes it much more realistic over the stock Caravan in Microsoft Flight Sim, is you can actually trip the generator now. So if I trip the generator there with the switch on the left hand main switch panel there, you can see the generator off annunciator on the PFD there, and I can reset that, and I can turn on Avionics 2, get our MFD up and running. I think that's everything we need on that panel there. We'll have our taxi light on. Well, they're a bit bright at the moment, we'll switch them on in a minute. Certainly have our nav light on, and our cabin lights on. We do not need any anti-ice items, just make sure they're off. So this is a closer up look of the left hand side panel now that we've got that started. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to push the you can see the little button here on the MFD, the number 12 soft key. Press enter or rightmost soft key to continue. So what that will do is that will take us out of reversionary, and the EIS strip that you see on the end of the PFD, I'm just going to push this off screen now, and you can see the PFD, the engine instrumentation strip, now disappears off of the PFD, and when we go back over to the MFD you can see the EIS is now there with the map up, all looking rather fine and dandy. So we're at Queenstown in New Zealand at the moment, so just thought I'd spawn into here quite randomly. Lovely part of the world. We'll dial in a little bit of rudder, not that much. It's not too bad in the Caravan. Well, not in the sim anyway. We'll leave our parking brake on for the moment. Dimmers all work and the lighting works on all the panels and the standby instruments and the compass, which I didn't show. That's up in the top right here, and I think I've improved the animation on the inertial separator handle. Got our little trim indicator there, and then on the number 2 monitor on the right hand side we've got our 3 standby gauges and the torque indicator, and then some pedestal items like for instance the aileron trim, rudder trim. There's the flap indicator there, there's a bleed air switch which doesn't really do a lot in the sim. I showed you the overhead earlier. There's the ADF there, and one of the most important things that you use quite a lot with the autopilot is the autopilot control head, which is above the MFD there. So we've got fully Knobster enabled of course. We can control our heading. Let's there you go, there's the heading bug. Changes on the HSI on the PFD as well. Then we have the course, which if I flick over to alternative map on the PFD, let's let you see that. I'm just there we go. So it's more traditional thing. There you can see now I'm adjusting the course needle, and then altitude select. So I think we'll dial in a couple of thousand feet there, or we can do hundreds of feet. I'll call it 2000. Then we have a the VS wheel, which is like a scroll. I can scroll up and down when I set the VS speed, and then the course 2 will also control the course as the course 1 knob does, and all the buttons work as well. So for the autopilot it's really nice. You can been using that quite a bit, set up flight level change and doing some VNAV altitude step downs and everything like that using the autopilot with this G1000 NXI, which is, I just love it to bits. It's a great way to fly with these G1000 panels when you feel like flying behind a bit of glass. And as I said at the beginning of the video, I've still got that analog panel which I can hook into this aircraft and fly this as well. So I'm working on another couple of panels for different aircraft, one another G1000, one like this, and we'll see where that takes us after that. But I've been doing quite a bit of clean up on some of my other panels. Quite a lot of stuff has changed on the Microsoft side, and so a few things, little things are broken. So I've got this, well, I did have a list as long as my arm. It's much reduced now. Been working my way through knocking off those little small tweaks here and there, just to tidy things up on a lot of the instruments that I'd already done and were working and have since been broken, but they're mainly all working again. I'll just have a few little last minute things to tidy up, and I'll have a lot more instruments that will be functional within the sim. So there we go, that is my G1000 Cessna Caravan panel. I think what I might do now is just perhaps stick on a little bit of music, and let's go for just a short flight. Backed in there. There we go out. Great for taxiing these maps. there we go. Very, very quick circuit in the Caravan. I like this one a lot. Been flying the Caravan quite a bit. Well, at least up until when the Kodiak came out, I've been flying the Kodiak quite a bit as well. Which this panel is very similar to, by the way. It's not, well, it's a bit different, but it's G1000 has got lots of similar controls, so it's nice. The Kodiak, indeed, very, very nice if you haven't got it already. So yeah, I've been doing a bit of bush type flying, a few challenging airfields, a couple of nice flight plans been working up. That I started actually with the Caravan, but I find that the Kodiak is just that much better at getting into those, although I haven't tried the same airfields with this new mod because apparently they've tweaked the performance a little bit as well, so we'll see how we go with that. Anyway, I'm not going to bore you with a taxi back to the parking area. I hope you enjoyed the quick look at the Cessna Caravan G1000 dual panels for Air Manager. Thanks for watching. See you again soon.